Hi, this is A. Wesley. That ain't even tells it like a TI is. If you like my video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribe. Topic I'm going to talk to you today about is Bill Collective Season 8 Reunion Part 1. The reunion started off with the producers and production setting up the set, getting on stage, everything getting ready. Next thing you know, they showed all the ladies getting out of their vans and stuff. And one of the police said, "You ready for the reunion?" Latesha said, "Oh yeah, I'm ready, I'm ready." And then they asked Latrice. She said, "I'm ready for anything." And then Marie said, "I'm ready too. It's gonna be real good. I'm ready." So they all said they was ready, and they were in their dressing rooms getting they were in their dressing rooms getting their makeup done and everything done like that. And normally it would be Carlos King coming by that dressing room. It was another producer coming by. So that lets me know that he might still be over the production part, but the network still have control over over bill collect. But anyway, and then some people said that they was glad that they stepped it up because they were saying you could tell that Bill Collective was rehearsed at the Tyler Perry Studios, and I said that was good because you could tell it did look a whole lot better than they past reunions. But anyway, they want to talk to everybody, and they were saying, "What do you think?" And then so, Latesha said, "I just hope everybody takes accountability for what they did." And then they asked Marie. Marie said the same thing. And then so they asked Latesha. Latesha said, Latrice said, "Yeah, yeah, I want everybody to speak up and to be honest and stuff like that." So they all technically kind of said the same thing and stuff like that. And so they got out there, and Carlos King kind of did a recap of the season, and then start introducing the ladies. He introduced Latrice first. He said, "Oh, you look good." Latrice said, "You look good too." They all had on gold. And then after that, Latesha came out. And then after Latesha came out, Marie. And then after Marie came out, it was uh it was Tambria. And then he said, last but not least, Carrie. So he brought Carrie out, and they all came out. They all came out dressed in their nice gold stuff. And like I said, when I first seen the pictures online, I said, "Ooh, ooh, Latrice got the best dress." And then when I think it was the Jasmine band that I first saw they looks, and then I saw them on other blogs, and everybody was saying, "Yeah, it's a Latrice, Carrie, and Tambria." And so when I got to looking, and then when I saw the photos that they put on their Instagram, I said, "Ooh, yes, Latrice was a best dressed. She was best dressed this time." And so I wasn't gonna put Carrie in the best dress at first. I was gonna put Selena, but to me, after I got to looking at it, Carrie's dress is a little bit better than Selena's to me. So it's gonna be Latrice, Carrie, and then Tambria and Selena come forth. Uh, Most of the time, Lateshia be dressing pretty nice for the reunion, but this is the first time that I'm gonna have to put I'm gonna put Latrice. I'm gonna put Lateshia after 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 Selena and Marie was the worst dress because at first when you look at the front of the dress, oh, it looked kind of pretty and stuff. But when she turned to the back and I seen that big old bow in the back and all that stuff in the back, I said, "Girl, she did too much." I said, "She's the worst dress this year, Marie," and stuff like that. So after that, he said, how you ladies? How's everything going?" And he said, Latesha, the show started off with you and Latrice having this argument, having this beef. Is everything all right? And then she said, "Well, the problem that I had with Letitia Carlos was she went behind my back and started talking to my ex-employees, trying to find out information about me." And then the teacher said, "No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I only talked to Josh one time. I only talked to Josh one time." And then we said, "I know, because I was right there. And when I heard the conversation, they was only talking about hair, and stuff like that. It wasn't what you talking about." She said, "That's not what Josh told me. Josh told me." And then the teacher said, "Do you believe Josh? Josh is an ex-employee." and stuff like that. Josh really wanted to be on the show, and then so and then so and then so Marie said, yeah, Josh was on the podcast, and I saw that podcast where Josh said that you only want him on the show so you could have a storyline. And then Latrice said, I don't need nobody on the show to have no storyline. I have a storyline by myself. I was saying, yeah, you do have a storyline by yourself, but you did bring Josh on there, as a buffer, and you even had him living with you, Latrice. So I do kind of believe Maria and Letitia on that part, Latrice. You know, you use that boy for a storyline. But anyway, back to the story. So she said, she said, I don't have to have nobody for no storyline and stuff. I can do my own stuff. And then so Carlos said, well, I saw that too. I saw that thing too. When she said that you use him for a storyline. So what do you think about that? And stuff. Do you think Letitia was lying or Josh was lying? She said, well, I ain't gonna comment on it, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And then Marie said, "That's the real reason why. That's the real reason why you mad." And then so Carla said, what is this issue that people say about you, Letitia, that you just brought Shantae on there to be your butt?" She said, "No, Shantae was not my butt." She said, "I've been know Shantae before the show and during the show." And she said, I brought Shantae on the show to be in the group, try to be on the show and stuff. And then so, and then so, Latrice said, "Yeah, that's why I brought Amanda on the show because you had brought Shantae on the show." And he said, "Oh yeah, Shantae brought a lot of drama to the show." And she was saying, "Yeah, y'all was calling Shantae the outside person, So she was outside person." And then next thing you know, he said, now how's things going on? Letitia, are you still Letitia? Said, well, as far as I'm concerned, me and Latrice made up and we okay. He said, Latrice, how do you feel? I still don't trust Letitia. I still don't trust you. Like, and she said, huh, what? And she said, I thought everything was cool with us, Latrice, but since you saying this, I really don't know right now. And she said, and you still mad over stuff with Josh? We done already discussed that. Marie said, nah, I think it's something else, Letitia. I think she mad about something else. It ain't just about that. And then Letitia said, what do you think she mad about, Marie? Marie said, you remember when you had that brunch a few years back and I told you I went to Latrice's shop to get a wig, and I told you they sent me that old cheap raggedy wig, and I showed it to you at the brunch, and you said she shouldn't be selling stuff like that if you're gonna look like that. That's the main reason she mad. Baby, if looks could kill, Marie would be on that floor. Honey child, the way Latrice rolled her eyes at Marie and looked down at Marie, and I said, "Oh, Marie is right." Because when the camera panned on her and you could see her face, you could see that she was smoking hot, she was smoking red, cause she wanted to blame it on one thing, and Marie and baby Marie told her tell her this was the first time Latrice was kind of speechless, and she really couldn't say nothing back to Marie. And then so, the teacher said, if that's the case, that was long years ago. And I was just saying that people gonna sell stuff, they gotta make good product for people to sell and stuff like that. And so he said, okay, let's move on to the next thing. And then so he said, what's going on between you and Carrie? And stuff going on between you and Carrie. She said, Carrie don't do nothing but lie, or Carlos, Carrie don't do nothing but lie. She said, what you mean I don't do nothing but lie, Marie? She said, you the one told me that Selena's fiance had a baby on the way. And you heard about it you heard about it from somebody, and I thought you were talking about somebody in the group. She said, well, I did hear from somebody, and what yeah, I said, well, you had to hear it from the what's called, but then you said you didn't hear it. You said that it was either Latrice or Tambria told you, and Tambria said, I'm finna straight this off right now. I didn't tell her nothing. Tambria said I heard about it, and I mentioned it to Latrice, and Latrice said she heard about it too. And so, and so, and so she said, "Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying." And then, and she said that's what my beef. That's what my beef was with Carrie. That she was trying to say that I the one said it. That I the one started the room. I didn't start the room. I got my information from Tabria and Latrice. And so, and so he said, well, is everything all right? She said, my nah. Yeah, and he said, what did this come up, Carrie, about you said some people in the group have fake followers. And she said, yeah. And he said, who on this set have fake followers? And the teacher said, well, I don't be on Instagram like that, but I have my Instagram followers, but I really don't look at it like that. And then Tabria said, with all the stuff I got going on, I don't be looking at no stuff either. And Latrice said, you ain't got to worry about me because I'll be on there every now. And he said, who it is, Carrie? She said, Marie. We said, what you talking about? I ain't got no fake following stuff. I ain't paying nobody. Don't you know that's my business? That's my stuff. You can ruin my business like that. And she said, now I can't ruin your business either. Next thing you know, it went to commercial. When they came back from commercial break, all of them was in Glenn and Letitia's dressing room and they was talking something. You wrong about that, Carrie. You wrong about that. You always saying stuff. You always saying stuff you ain't got no business jumping in people's conversation, doing that. What I'm talking about. You ain't let me talk. And she said, I did let you talk. And she said, why? She said, why are you sitting up and doing that? I'm trying to tell you that's my business. That's my business. And you need to stop lying on me. She said, I'm not lying on you. I done looked at your father. I've been an influencer for a while. So you can't be talking about me. You can't be talking about me. You got fussing back and forth. And then Carrie's mother-in-law came and said, "What's going on? What's going on?" We got the crying. I don't want nobody saying I'm paying people to follow me on Instagram and stuff and all that kind of stuff because that'll ruin my business. We got the crying and all kinds of stuff. And one say, Carrie always saying some chicken up me. Say Carrie do that all the time. She my daughter-in-law. Don't worry about it. You gonna be all right. You gonna be all right. Like I said, going out there and get you some of these lunch breaks stuff. And I'm looking at Carrie, you the mother-in-law. You don't even need to be in there because that is your daughter-in-law, but you don't have to be in that room. I said they shouldn't even let that mother-in-law come in that room. And then so Glenn got to shaking his head. And I'm like, ooh, this is a lot, this is a lot. And so he said, yeah, let's come back out there and sit down. Come back out there and sit down. He said, are you all right, Marie? She said, yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. And so he said, okay. He said, we're gonna go back to back to the set and see what was going on. He said, Tambria, how's everything going on with you and your dad? She said, that's been rough this year. It's been rough with me and my dad and stuff like that. And then she brought out her little daughter, London, and you could tell that little baby didn't want to be in front of the camera and stuff. So Carlos hurry up, got off the seat. I was kind of glad. And then he said, well, we had two people that people were considered outside. We had Shantae and we had Amanda. And so they showed Shantae and Amanda in the back getting ready. And Shantae talking about she ready to expose in everybody. Even she ready for everybody, including Carlos. And then Amanda said she just want people to tell the truth and stuff like that. So they got out there. Amanda sat down and she was saying, yeah, she said, yeah, I didn't like I didn't like the way the two of y'all were trying to laugh at Lateshia. When I was doing your hair, Latrice, you and Tabria was laughing at her. I didn't like that, even though I didn't say too much. I didn't like that because that was my friend. And then Shantae said, well, well, just like you taking up for Letitia, Shantae. That's why I brought Latrice. Latrice is my friend, and what I ain't like what y'all had said about my friend Latrice, and that's why I spoke up to it. Y'all gonna talk about your stuff and stuff like that, and she was saying, "Yeah, I sure did take up Letitia because you talking about Letitia husband Glenn flirted with you. Glenn ain't never flirted with you. I've been around Letitia and Glenn a whole lot. Now, if he really would have flirted with you, I would have found out about it. And I would have told Letitia the first chance I got. She said, okay. She said, okay. She said, I feel the same way. And she said, it wouldn't be for me. You wouldn't even be here, Amanda. I was here first because I was Latrice's friend. I mean, I was Letitia's friend first. That's what Shantae said. And then so she said, she said, what you talking about? You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be here. She said, you wouldn't be here for Latesha. And she said, and she said, yeah. And what you call it? Because Latrice got you on. She said, yeah, same thing you said about me is the same thing about you. They got to going back and forth. And she talking about, yeah, yeah. And here go the proof. Here go the proof. And so Carlos said, the proof of what? The proof that Tambria was cheating with the juice man. Tambria said the juice man, I know the juice man, because juice man is a part, is a part of the radio thing, he's promoting for the radio. And she said, nah, she come kind of show some pictures stuff. And to me, looked like she was coaching the man. She said, yeah, I know Tambria. I've been around there for a while. We used to do this. And I looked at the man who would have came out and said, I know Tambria. We dated for a while. He didn't say nothing like this. He said, yeah, I know Tambria. I met a long time ago, but we. And I was saying, yeah, Carlos White, what's going on? This ain't had nothing to do with nothing. And so he said, is this your proof? She said, yeah. He showed it to Tambria. And Tambria said, this ain't no proof. And everybody said, yeah, this ain't no proof. And then he said, what you doing, Tambria? Tambria said, I'm finna call the juice man right now. She called the juice man. The juice man, uh, I got the video here showing that someone said that me and you were dating. We had a. He said I didn't say that. He said I just said that I knew you from a long time ago. He said I know. They hung up the phone, and then Carlos said this is confusing to me. And then the episode went out. All in all, episode. I mean, reunion one was good. I like that. I like that Carrie gave Marie just as much pushback as Marie was giving her. uh, it seems like Latrice was the main one had a problem with Lakeisha. Lakeisha was over it. Whatever little problem, stuff that Latrice was trying to make up, you could tell that Lakeisha was over it. So I really did like the episode. I mean, reunion part one. I hope reunion part two is just as good. That's all I have for this video. This is A. Wesley. That ain't who tells it like a TI is. I am out.